we're already into the new year, and my cat is already trying to keep me from getting some productive work done. It's amazing that we are in the new year. We have so much to look forward to, so much to be grateful for. Thank you to all of you who supported our 2022 giving campaign. We have a lot to look forward to in 2022, and in this video I want to give you a little bit of a preview as I'm going over and looking through my list as we're planning out. January is the time where we're just not making New Year's resolutions, but truly saying, okay, now that we have our marching orders, we've raised funds that we need to do different things for you to help you grow in your faith. How do we do all of these things in this next year? So we're planning it out, we're mapping it out, and I wanted to give you a little bit of a sneak peek of where we're going with some of these things and what we hope to accomplish in 2022, God willing. But as I said, we just finished a giving campaign that was very ambitious. We tried to raise $100,000, and we did pretty remarkably well. Thanks be to God, and thanks to all of you who supported our work. We raised just under $80,000, so we didn't reach our goal, but we're still hopeful that that shortfall is going to come about somehow early here in the new year. So we're just marching ahead. Raising that much money in as short of a period of time as we did really helped to lay a new foundation for Rosary Army. We've been around for 19 years, and we oftentimes operate on a shoestring budget. And doing so, operating off of a shoestring budget, you know how this is in your own house, that if you just keep operating with as little as possible without ever creating an emergency fund or planning out where you're going to go, well, if you don't plan, what's the old saying, failure to plan is planning to fail and that kind of thing. So that's why we were trying to raise the money so that we could actually start planning ahead of doing some pretty ambitious things for Rosary Army. So again, we raised just under $80,000. Thank you for that. Some miracle donations came in, just can't get past that. The number one thing that we want to do this year is overhaul our Total Consecration website and really do a huge push to encourage people to consider total consecration to Jesus through Mary. Part of that is explaining what it is. The reason why we want to do this is Rosary Army would not even exist if it wasn't for total consecration to Jesus through Mary. We made our total consecrations literally the same week that Rosary Army went online, and our lives have changed as a result of that. So that's a big thing for us. We're going to be re-recording all of the audio that we have over at totalconsecration.com. We're going to be completely renovating the website. Some of the things that we hope to do, we'd love to be able to create a new mobile app. We already have the Rosary Army mobile app, which so many of you already have and use to pray the rosary every single day. But the Total Consecration app, and again, it's in the early stages, what we hope it will do is to make it easier for people to make this commitment and feel like they're not alone in going through this and answering a lot of questions and basically offering encouragement. So we're looking into the possibility of that. App development can be quite expensive, as you know, so we have not yet fully committed to that, but so say a prayer about that if you would. We think that's something that we want to do. The other thing that we want to do is, and we're talking about how can we realistically do this, is actually accompany people like you going through total consecration, either through Zoom meetings or building some other online community where you have access to others going through this at the same time, so you truly feel like you are having companions on this journey. We think that's so important, so we're trying to figure out how we can do that. The other things that we want to do, we've had a lot of people telling us how much the live streamed rosaries from Rosary Army made such an impact in their lives in the early days of the pandemic when we were all locked down. We started doing live streams on a nightly basis, and we have not been able to continue doing that, partially because we just don't have the staff with Rosary Army to be able to do the work and all the production stuff and do the live streams. And so we were doing a lot of the live streams in the evenings, 8 o'clock at night, but that was also interfering with the actual core work of Rosary Army. And so we talk a lot about this internally of how can we do more live stream rosaries that people want and they benefit from because they felt like it was a part of their community, and how do we do that while also still doing all the other work? So one of the things that I experimented with last year, and many of you joined me on, was I actually made rosaries while praying the rosary. And so it was sort of a 2-for-1, right? I was showing you how to make the rosaries while also praying the rosary with you. Doing that also was a bit more production work and doing that kind of thing. And so we're just trying to figure out, could we hire someone to help us with this production work so that we could do those things and then move on back to the other work that we're doing? And so again, nice to haves, things that we're trying to figure out. but we'd at least like to be able to commit to doing live stream rosaries with all of you on particular holy days or important feast days, maybe doing a series of novenas, not necessarily 54-day novenas, but other types of novenas. So we're talking about all these things. And again, we're in the early planning phases right now before we commit to doing all these things. But media production is a big thing that Rosary Army has always done. As you know, my wife and I, in addition to Rosary Army, we also do a couple of other podcasts that you can find on our other website, gregandjennifer.com. One's called Adventures in Imperfect Living. One's called Catechism Class. Both of these shows, we constantly are talking about Rosary Army, whereas particularly on Adventures in Imperfect Living, we're constantly giving a behind the scenes of what we're dealing with, trying to have a family, running a global nonprofit organization like Rosary Army, while also creating a lot of media. One of the fun things that we did, and hopefully you listened to it over Christmas, was a nativity audio drama that we did. And it just, so many people responded to it. We had thousands of downloads on that. So much response to it, very positive. So we're trying to talk about and think about what can we be doing along those lines. That was a lot more of an intensive production than our weekly podcast. Can we do more of those things for you in the new year? So we have some really cool ideas, and one idea that we think is really unique. I'll go ahead and tell you. We haven't committed to this yet, but what we're thinking about doing is, if you listen to that Fiat audio drama, people loved hearing scriptures come alive in that dramatic way. One of the things that people love is our scriptural rosary prayers, our audio prayers that you can listen to for free over at rosaryarmy.com/audio. But you can also hear similar prayers, a different recording that we did for our app. One of the ideas I had was, what if we did a dramatic rosary? And the idea would be that rather than just reading straight from Scripture and then praying the rosary mysteries after that, what if each mystery was a dramatized audio where you actually are pulled into the story and you hear the sounds and you hear dialogue that's taken from Scripture that explains each mystery very briefly, just a few minutes each, and then it would go into the prayer of the mystery itself. So for example, if it's the visitation, well, we actually did that in our Fiat audio drama at Christmas. It would be very similar to that, of Mary visiting Elizabeth. You hear their conversation, you hear the sounds of the doors opening up and closing, and you hear other sounds all around them, and it really brings to life that biblical story. And so you'd hear something like that, and then immediately it would go into Our Father who art in heaven, and we'd pray that mystery. And then at the end of the mystery, we would do another little audio drama piece. And so we would do 4 different sets, because there's 4 sets of mysteries. It's an idea that we have. We're working on it. Probably be several months before we can do that. But again, because of the funding that was raised during our giving campaign, we have the time to give the attention to actually trying to develop these kinds of audio and video productions to help other people. Speaking of video, we plan on continuing to do news from headquarters. So many of you have been enjoying these videos. It gives us an opportunity to not only give you updates from Rosary Army, like I'm doing right now, but to do a little bit more produced video. We really saw a lot of downloads anytime we did videos that teach you how to do something or explain different concepts. And so we really think that we want to do a lot more of those catechetical and instructional type of videos. And then some other basic things that we want to do in the new year. We have been studying the different stats of people that visit the website. One of the biggest things that we noticed was those who visit Rosary Army's website, an overwhelming majority, like more than half, visit Rosary Army through their cell phones. So we want to make the website even more responsive and look even better on your mobile devices. And so we're going to be working on that. And the same is going to be for the new Total Consecration website. We've had requests. People have asked us, can we work on trying to get our audio rosaries available on different home devices like Google Home or Alexa or whatever Apple's thing is, HomeKit I think it is, so that you can just say, hey, Google, play the rosary from Rosary Army, and it will play that. So we're going to try to work on those kinds of things, that, again, nice to haves. Some other things that we're praying about and thinking about, the idea of a Rosary Army retreat. We've been thinking about that for well over a decade. Is this the year to do it? We don't know yet, but we're praying about it. So there's a lot of other things that are on our list. I could read the whole list to you. It's super long. We have lots of great ideas, this, but we couldn't do any of this without you. Thank you again so much for being here, for your attention, for Rosary Army, for watching this video. I know it's a little bit longer than normal, but we have so much great stuff ahead. We ask for your prayers, your patience as we figure out this game plan, but in the months to come, we do have a lot of great things in store for you, all in an effort to help you know the faith, live the faith, and share the faith, particularly through Rosary Army as we make them, pray them, and give them away. And I encourage you to keep doing that yourself in your life. Thank you for being here. God bless. Talk to you again very soon.